Hello, I'm Pam Hoffman, Everyday Spacer.
I'm Jeff Miller, 2049 Outfitters.
At Everyday Spacer, we show regular folks how to personally and directly participate in space exploration, science, and astronomy. We're here live on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific time, 12 midnight Eastern time, and 12 noon on Saturday in Hong Kong. We're broadcasting live from Thousand Oaks, California. You're up.
Okay. We did mention that we're going to be looking at some cybersecurity stuff every once in a while. And this isn't necessarily cybersecurity, well, it is slightly. But
do you want me to share that?
Sure. I want to talk about the CrowdStrike screw up.
It's CrowdStrike.
CrowdStrike, actually.
Yes.
But there are a number of us who've called it other things before that.
And I know some of you out there have already experienced issues. My sister posted to Facebook she went to 2 different gas stations and could not use her credit card. Well,
that might have been her credit card, not the gas station.
Oh, I see.
I do have a list, and I'm going to post the link to the list of companies that were affected by it.
Got it.
So just in summary, this is Sentinel One. They're a really good cybersecurity blog, which is why I read them. They on July 19th, 2024, Windows 7 computers and above running CrowdStrike's Falcon sensor, which is basically the endpoint for a networked security suite. Basically, it runs on the server and it puts a sensor on all of the workstations that are attached to it so that it can detect if there's any malicious activity on those workstations. Basically trying to detect it before it gets into the system. So that's actually a good thing. But it means that this CrowdStrike gets an update. They send it to the server sends it to all of the workstations.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there was a screw up in that automatic update that no one could opt out of.
Ouch. And
it put in a file that basically messed things up. And the fix for it was to, and this is something where you needed IT, or at least someone who's somewhat competent to do it. You had to boot into safe mode and delete a specific file from a specific location.
Yeah, I read that when you sent the email earlier.
Yeah. And that's that's how you fixed it. But it was just basically an update that no one could opt out of, that apparently was not tested, at least not well enough.
Very important to test.
Probably tested on a few systems, but not on big systems. And where it really killed things were big networked systems.
Yeah, like a bunch of airlines really suffered.
And they haven't actually published yet what actually went wrong. Just here's the file that you need to mitigate it.
So they've put out the fix, but they still haven't told you why this happened.
But it's not a fix that can be done remotely, because it blue screens any computer that it hits.
Okay.
And so you can't remote into that computer. Well, unless it's got vPro, then you can get in through BIOS. But most people don't do that.
Okay.
And so it needs physical hands-on. So if you're a big company with a whole bunch of remote workers, how do you fix the remote workers? Yeah.
Almost seems like they need to do a patch or an update of some sort and then
well, except that
push it.
The computers no longer function. They're bricked.
Okay.
See, that's the trouble, is that they can't receive the fix.
Oh, I see.
You need a hands-on to reboot it in safe mode and manually delete this thing.
Ouch. What a mess.
Yeah. So, and now the file was only served for 1 hour between 4 and 5 a.m. UTC, which is Universal Time. And so if you got unlucky, you got hit. And if you pulled updates during that time period, you got hit.
So for just that hour of time.
Right. But
people got in trouble.
the
But
trouble is that anyone who's online pulled it. So if your computer happened to be turned off during that hour and you turned your computer on, you were okay.
wow.
Now, this only hit people with that security system, with the CrowdStrike security system. So
Okay.
it only really affected big companies who could afford to get that security system.
I see.
So,
Okay.
but
Are you showing more?
yeah, I'm kind of just reading it. Microsoft estimates that 8.5 million Windows devices were affected.
That is a lot.
Worldwide. And given the nature of the BSOD loop, basically it required, they give what I just said here. They have a script, but you still had to reboot it. And if it was encrypted with BitLocker, you had to have the key, BitLocker key. That's another thing. I'll talk about that at some point. But so that's what CrowdStrike was. Now,
is it cloud or crowd?
it's Crowd.
CrowdStrike.
Yeah.
Okay.
I confuse it with Cloudflare.
Oh, I see.
Which is actually a very good company.
Yeah.
But
I know something about them.
yeah. Now, Sentinel-1 is talking about this a lot. And they're talking about how they're different from CrowdStrike. And yes. So they're
newsjacking. I understand that completely.
Yep. And quite frankly, I get my news from these guys. So, why don't you look at comments?
Because I was waiting for you to finish this up.
Oh.
And
okay. No. Companies impacted. Now, this is a link that I'll give you guys. This is a list of all of the companies hit.
Very interesting.
What?
And so they're going to have to go through every single computer to
every computer that was online at the time
to remove this file and bring it back online. Okay.
Yeah. Amazon. This will affect just about everyone. Yeah. American Airlines. Amgen. My sister used to work for them. They're like about 8 miles away from right here. This location right here. Australia Post. Australia Broadcast. Well, of course, all of the A's are together. A bunch of Australia stuff. Bank Australia, Bank of America, Bank of Queensland. Best Buy, which is a store here.
Yep.
I mean, Capital One, another credit card.
A lot of big names.
Yeah, a lot of them. Even if you scrolled all the way down to the bottom, University of California, which was, I was UCI, University of California, Irvine. Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security. Disney Parks, all of them.
Wow.
FedEx. So not only were your, and UPS also, just so you know. So so deliveries were majorly messed up.
Interestingly enough, if a company had an old system,
yep,
this couldn't even operate on it. So they were fine. I think a lot of memes out there were happening that, oh yeah, we're using a Commodore 64 and runs everything on one machine. So it was a funny thing. But if they had a really old computer, they're fine.
One of the few U.S. airlines that wasn't hit was Southwest.
Yep.
Why? Because their computer systems are still using Windows 3.1, a 32-year-old version of Windows.
That's really old.
Now, here's the thing about that. There are so many unfixed flaws in Windows 3.1 that by being immune to CrowdStrike, they just basically announced to everyone, hack me.
Oh.
Because, I mean, even I could do that. So that's, so,
Yeah,
so,
I don't know if it's worth it, though, because I think one of the things they want to do is to hit big, hard,
Yeah.
I mean, is it going to be worth it to someone out there to do that even?
Right, yeah.
I don't know. If they have a grudge against them, I guess.
Yeah. Now, the CEO is getting called before Congress to explain what happened. And he's probably going to say, well, no one could predict this.
However, except him.
Except him.
Oh, wait, let me share it again.
because here we are. Um, you know, and here's the critical part. What if I told you this has happened before?
Yeah.
What if I noted that in 2009, George Kurtz, the CEO of
That's the guy.
CrowdStrike, had been promoted to chief technical officer at cybersecurity software firm McAfee.
Yeah, a
And
cybersecurity firm.
That within 6 months, McAfee released a software update that deleted critical operation files on Windows XP systems around the globe and led to BSODs and boot loops.
So same damn thing.
Yeah. Now, some of the
2009.
conspiracy guys are going to probably say that he did this both places. I doubt it. For one thing, he was only at McAfee for 6 months. For another thing, I think that that assumes a level of competence that I really haven't seen there. But what it does tell me about his level of competence is he doesn't learn from his mistakes.
Not paying attention, something.
Yeah, he didn't learn from the McAfee fiasco that he was in charge of. And now he's in charge of another company that made the same mistake under his watch.
Crazy.
That's okay. So that's what I have to say about Clown Strike.
You said it again. So yeah, not exactly like personal stuff, your computer, but definitely can be affect you in other ways.
Oh yeah. And let me get that. Oh hey, why don't you read off the...
All right, so yeah, I'll go ahead and share some of our chat so far. Happy Friday, everyone. Home safe from Utah Farm and Essential Oil Training. Excellent. Thanks, Janie, for being here. Glad you had fun on the farm. Hey, Scott. 2 minutes late. Nope, you're not late. Hi, Cliff. How are you? Love the pants. Oh, I posted it to Facebook. Yeah, Clown Strike. These computer guys have some funny names for things, like all the time. So glad you're here, folks. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the topic for tonight is Radio Galaxy Zoo EMU. And we'll be back in 8.3 seconds. Tonight, Jeff will discuss a new Zooniverse project. It's brand new. This project involves regions of the sky with radio signals. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to identify and classify these regions. You will teach which patches of the radio emission belong together, which optical or infrared galaxy is the home of the supermassive black hole that is usually responsible for radio emission. So, Jeff, what's this project like?
It's actually, there's a lot of fiddly bits, but they're not difficult. And it's actually pretty satisfying to do. And just so you know, I posted the list of companies affected. There's probably more companies than on this list, but these are the big ones that people know about.
So yeah, it's in the chat. It should be a clickable link.
Yep.
If you want to check it out.
Yep.
Especially if you have some kind of connection with them.
Yep.
Oh, am I sharing?
So, yep.
Okay.
So here we go. Radio Galaxy Zoo. The hunt for supermassive black holes, like Pam said.
Yeah, the EMU is for where was that in there?
I'll read it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We actually did a Radio Galaxy Zoo before, but it was with a different data set.
Right.
And so this is a lot of what we'll be seeing in classifying. And it was 0% complete over the weekend, and it's still 0% complete. But there's 448 volunteers doing this. So
I like their theory about it too, because of course these run past a whole bunch of people. It's quite possible that none of their sets have been seen by enough individuals.
Right, because each image
start being complete.
Yeah, needs at least 10 people to see it for it to be complete. So I don't.
And I'm sure every project is a little different.
Right. Yeah, that's why I said about, because who knows?
Yeah.
I think I think it defaults to 10, and they can set it wherever they want.
Got it.
One set it to 100, just because they wanted as many eyes on each one as possible.
Right, I remember that.
Radio Galaxy Zoo. It's the EMU is Evolutionary Map of the Universe. survey. And so this is from the Australian Square Kilometre Array Pathfinder. So this is an Australian radio array, and it's trying to figure out how the universe developed. So and they're looking back as far as they can, so that
Do they happen to have a picture of where the radio telescope is?
No, I haven't seen one.
Okay.
So that's what that is. And in the learn more, they give a pretty wide, pretty good view of this.
Go Aussies.
Yep.
Yeah, if you know where that is, Cliff, let us know. I'm curious now.
Yeah. So they're looking for supermassive black holes, because theory is that galaxies all formed around supermassive black holes. So if you can identify super early supermassive black holes,
okay,
then you can see the beginnings of galaxies.
Right.
Cool. So this is the kind of thing that we'll be looking at. Basically, radio wave. I'll have to look at it.
I think some of them are optical, right?
Yeah, one of them's optical.
There's like 3 sets and 3 different magnifications.
I think it's radio, infrared, and optical.
Okay.
But it'll say it.
So are all those from the same array? It sounds like they can't. Well, yeah, because infrared doesn't really get through our atmosphere.
Right.
But so, radio waves could.
Yeah. And the opticals wouldn't be done by that either. So they're combining different instruments.
Okay.
But the radio waves are, information is coming from.
It's in the middle of nowhere. SKA ray. Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured. But I didn't know if you actually knew where it was. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yep. So after finding some things, and here's what they're hoping to find, because the last time they looked for them, they found some things that, here's the source of radio waves with no obvious source.
Okay.
And so that's strange. They got excited about that from the last one. Here's one with apparently 2 sources that are interacting and causes this strange pattern. Again, they got really excited about this. So they're hoping that they find more things that, because I think aside from just cataloging things, they want to see stuff that they've never seen before.
Yeah, I think one of the best lines in science is, "That's weird."
Yep. Uh-huh.
Or, "Oh, wow."
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that. The team, standard looking team, a bunch of young undergrads. From pretty much all over.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
So not just, that's a big long list.
Yeah, it is.
You weren't even halfway through the page.
Nope.
So definitely look at that if you're interested in the team.
And the results, and this is the previous Radio Galaxy Zoo has their research summarized over here. So if you want to see what they found from the last one, that's a good link for it.
Cliff says it's in Western Australia. Yeah. Thank you so much, Cliff. Yeah. Really appreciate that. And he's at South Africa.
Oh. Okay. Okay, yeah. So they're using the interferometry. However you say that, my mouth doesn't work.
Interferometry.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Sure.
Okay.
So.
Just the next tab over.
Yeah. This is the education.
Education. Okay. Yeah, I do always like and appreciate that they have lots of different links and more information, and you can go down that rabbit hole as far as you'd like.
Yeah. And they have the FAQ here, which is infrared and optical. Can I just mark one of them? Of course. So we'll get into that with the tutorial. So many tags to choose from, multiple choices. Why? Because again, there could be multiple characteristics shown by one. So it's just basically, this is the fact. It's interesting reading, but it doesn't really help you do the task.
Well, still.
Yep.
It's nice.
Yep. So we go to classify, and I'll have to, since I've already done the tutorial, I have to pop up the tutorial. Here we go. Now, welcome to Galaxy Zoo. And you would think that, and then they go and reiterate basically a lot of the stuff on the other one. So instead of just having a welcome screen, they actually give you some info. And this tutorial is a fairly comprehensive tutorial.
Cool.
These are radio image contour maps. And they put the radio contours over the optical map.
That's good.
And because like here, pretty good chance that that's the source.
It's a big bright thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But not always. And this is infrared. So this is radio contours over the infrared map. And
so radio, optical, infrared.
Yep. And your task is to put a box around everything that you think is part of the same thing.
Okay, so box first, got it.
Yep. Box first. And
I think they want you to mark just the top 3, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And they get into that. So let's go here. Your next task is to find and mark the optical or infrared galaxy that you think is the host or origin of all of the radio emissions. Like in this one, looks like that. And you look in the optical, and there is a bright spot there. So that's cool. So you can either mark it here or here, and so you can mark either one of those two for where the source is.
Okay.
So zoom. Stop that. Okay. Step 1, there's a bit of okay, this part 3 of step 1 is look for any radio sources that don't belong. And they're going to say like these two. So you've put the box around, you've marked it, and then you draw boxes around things that don't belong.
This is the not part of the group part.
Right, yeah. This is probably either in front of or behind this thing, is what they're thinking.
Okay.
And so that's step 3 of part 1. Then you click next and go to step 2. And this is where you give it tags. Amorphous, bent, bridge. Now some of these are fairly obvious. Some of them aren't. But the field guide gives a really good description of a lot of these.
Cool.
With visual examples. So that's good.
That's useful. I went through this and I went through part of the field guide, but not a lot of it.
Right. And here's where you can
fun extra steps like
talk about it. This is typical Radio Galaxy stuff.
Yep. Well, any Zooniverse project, really.
Any Zooniverse, yeah. And there are, if you like an image, you can always add it to your favorites, create your own collection. This info button tells you where it comes from, where the image comes from. So that's the tutorial. Field guide.
It's actually pretty big.
Do I need to zoom in? Actually, not really, because as you can see here, they have a zoomed in, default, and zoomed out right up here.
So they kind of do it for you.
They do it for you. They don't give you a whole lot of control over that, which is kind of unfortunate. I would rather be able to zoom in and out of one to my heart's content, but apparently they decided that this is what you need. So which zoom level is best for you? They go on to say that whichever one contains The biggest one that contains all of the parts of the thing that you want to box.
Got it.
So like if you thought that this little bit was part of it, and I don't think it is, but if you thought that this bit was part of it,
Yeah.
you would want to use this one.
The middle, yeah.
Because you can get it. But I think you'd be trying to get it off.
So the best place to put the box around everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I understand.
So, you know, and they basically long-winded version of what I just said.
Okay, but it's there. It's
yeah.
there.
Sometimes you don't see anything in the optical or infrared.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
You know, like here, optical, there's nothing there in the middle that you can see.
No.
And in radio, you see two lobes. Of course, what this is it's jets off of a black hole hitting gas out here and lighting them up. Okay. So, you know, so those are cases where you might not have anything in the center, but if you see something like there is a dot in the infrared there and in there. And so there's something there. It's not obvious that that's part of this. In fact, in visual, you don't even see these lobes.
Yeah.
You just see something there. So this is going to be the source for that. Oops. So that's which contours don't belong. Again, they're a little bit more detail about, like in this thing, that little thing right there just doesn't belong to this object.
Are you teaching the computer again in this one?
They don't say that.
Okay.
So maybe.
Seems to be a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because they want you to group them, and then this isn't part of the group. It's kind of the two primary goals, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think they might be teaching
tagging. Which tag should I use? This is where they amorphous. There's no clearly defined shape or form. A lot of the ones that I saw previously looked like this.
Okay.
Then there's bent. If you notice, like this or like this. So anything that's not straight. A bridge. You've got two things with, you know, some. So this is like the previous one where it was an invisible object in the middle hitting two clouds.
Got it.
A core has a central part distinct from the enveloping part. You like here, you can actually, there's actually a core here, even though it's got these two lobes out here. And again, here, visible core. Hourglass. You know, that's describes.
Looks a lot like a bridge to me, but.
Yeah. Well, and you can have multiples.
Okay.
I think a bridge is supposed to be narrower than an hourglass, but again, you know, now a jet is a stream of particles.
Got it.
And a lobe. This is kind of like, what's the difference between this and a bridge and an hourglass?
Yeah.
You know, again, roundish projection divided by a fissure or gap. A plume. Long cloud of smoke or vapor spreading from its point of origin. Again.
I do like the colors, though.
Yeah. You like purple.
Yeah.
A tail. What's the difference between a tail and a plume? Don't know.
Looks a little more comet-like in this particular.
Traces host. Significant emissions overlap with the shape structure in the optical or IR images. So basically you see a lot of stuff there, whereas in a lot of them, the optical and IR don't have much going on with it. Examples of choosing multiple tags, lobe plus bridge. You know, yes.
Got it.
Yes, there's a bridge there. Yeah, again, you know, just amorphous and bent.
Bent, really interesting.
Yeah. And this is a core plus a jet. This is a core plus gent plus bent.
Oh, so you could even put, okay, three things.
I would actually almost think that this was lobes, but hey. Well, I guess no, because there's no lit thing right here.
Well,
These are just
it's
jets.
definitely not straight either.
Right,
so.
yeah. So the bent is definitely in there. Core plus plume.
And I have a feeling the more you work with them, the more you'll kind of
Right.
get
This is
a good feel for
yeah.
what they are.
Amorphous plus traces, because if you notice, there's a lot of stuff, visual stuff going on in that. So that's that one. What about artifacts or not real? You know, so you can have no tag on something.
Okay.
If you don't think it's a real radio source like this, it could just be a bright spot.
Ah.
Something hit the, something hit the array at one point. So you can put no tag on there to indicate that there's nothing actually there. Detailed examples, and they give this is not amorphous or bent. We also don't think we see a core. Jet and plume are also terms we wouldn't use to describe the source, because it's not a clear from something to somewhere else. We selected the lobe tag because we see one. We also think that there's a bridge because they see a trail of that between them. If it was just lobes, there wouldn't be a bridge in between them.
Okay.
So, and then talk in the forums. This is, this is where you ask them, hey, this is weird. Okay, so let's get on to, here's what we actually see. If you notice, the same image, just different zoom levels. And mark one is draw total source box. And I'm going to draw it like that.
Ah, the typical one that looks like you can adjust it and move it around. And
in fact, I'm going to, oops, I don't want to do that. I want to grab there we go.
So it sounds like, it looks like you want to get it pretty tight on the.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there's that. Mark the host galaxy.
These are just picking the tools to.
Right. Now in this one, I'm pretty sure it's right here.
Gosh, it doesn't even look like there's a galaxy
right,
there to me.
Yeah. And it could be this thing right here, which is quite possible if it's moved. Really hard to tell. I'm gonna go out on the limb and say that it's this, even though it's possibly that. But
then there'll be other people that'll.
Yep.
Oh, can you move that around to get it like right in the center of the?
Yep.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. It's just demonstrating is good.
Yep. And if you want to get rid of it, you can.
Yep.
Draw boxes around things that don't.
That's
belong.
pretty typical for these Zooniverse projects. Yeah.
So I don't think that that this belongs. Hang on.
Oh, the little.
Yeah, here.
Oh, did they want you to mark it there or on the?
They want us to mark it there, but I don't think that that's. But I'm
contours that don't belong.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Where I don't even see it there. Yeah, there's these contours here, because they actually marked them with contour lines.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one right here. I don't think that that's part of it right there, because that's just something that's a radio source, but not part of it.
I guess I thought it was the really colorful thing that they had with those. So
I'm gonna say that. Okay. So next.
And then there's the need some help too. So.
Yep. So
you could ask if you really wanted to.
What are we gonna call this?
Oh boy.
It's bent.
It's bent.
There's a core, because we can see a core there.
Okay.
Is it an hourglass? No. Lobes, yes, because those are lit up. So let's call it lobes. And we don't see any huge emissions here overlaying it. Now, if this were the target, you'd see like there's a whole lot of emissions right there.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're looking at. So we're going to call that one done.
Yeah, I think you did a pretty good job on it.
So this one.
Wow. Vastly different. They have the target lines at what they're looking at?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
they've already picked the draw tool for you, the first one.
Yeah. So I'm going to mark that. I'm thinking that this is,
I don't see anything.
This is an example of nothing inside there that doesn't belong except for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Next, so I'm going to say no tags.
Ah, okay.
Because I don't really think that this is a real source. I think that this is, So next one. Too bad it's not this, but.
Yeah, it probably looks not the part of the group, right?
Yeah, well, here's
the really bright thing.
It could be part of the same group.
Oh, okay.
Thinking about it, this could be some gas that's been lit up by the core. Man, this one makes me think.
That's pretty interesting that you could sit there and go, I wonder if it is in fact
part of
it and why.
Yep. I figure there's going to be at least 9 other people who see this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to mark this one because this one doesn't quite fit.
Right. But it is the biggest one that'll get the whole thing.
Yep. And
cool.
Mark the host galaxy.
Now, do you have to do it in the same?
No.
You can do it in the bigger one? Okay.
Yep.
You think it's that little one in the middle?
Well, if you see the really brightest, but of course, and here's the other thing, is that it could be this one lighting up stuff over here, but why would it light up 2 different things? Or it could be this one lighting up these 2. But more radio waves are coming. See, that's why I kind of, and it's a good thing that there's.
Interesting. Okay.
No, I don't see any other contour lines that.
Like something that's outside of it?
Yeah.
Not part of the group? Oh boy, what are you going to call this?
Well, there's no bridge.
No.
There is kind of there.
So it's not amorphous, it's not bent. Okay, core.
Well, it might be bent because they're not like lined up.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, looks like there's a lobe. Or is that a plume?
Well, and here's the thing. If you really want to look at it again, you can look at the field guide again.
Yep. Okay.
So pretty nice and juicy project. It's not too boring. It's not too hard.
Right. And here's something that this is looking like it's all part of the same structure. This one may or may not be. Probably not.
Yeah, I figured they put it in the target, the 2 crosshairs, what you're really looking at.
So we'll go there.
Okay. It almost seems like those 2 outliers on the right, or excuse me, the left,
this one
aren't really part of it. Yeah, those 2 and maybe even the one right next to, but I don't know. This is an interesting project. There's kind of a lot to it. A lot to kind of figure out, think about.
Yep. So I'm going to mark the host galaxy.
Do you want to put an optical or?
You know what? I think you're right. I think that doesn't belong there. Mark the host galaxy.
Yeah, probably that thing, right?
Yep. Draw boxes around contours that don't belong.
At least the 2, right?
Yeah, here, let's go down here where there. It's also in the box.
Oh, can you pick from different?
Yes.
That's useful. Interesting. Okay, grab it from you. There you go. What about that one that's kind of right next to it, upper left?
This one?
No.
This one? I think that these three are part of the same.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So all three. Okay.
Yep. So it looks like it's a core.
Is it bent?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Hourglass, I don't really think so.
I think there's a bridge between them. I don't know.
Well, a bridge doesn't usually have a core. It's just a bridge of light.
Right, yes.
So I think that's gonna do it. And
so yeah, if you want to try this project, I think it would be interesting enough to capture your attention.
Yeah, so I think that's good.
Okay. Cool. Well, tell us what you think. I think it's a good project. I think I'm glad we played with it. I wonder if they're going to get anything done because it's been 0% for
it's
quite a while. How many objects are they? They usually have a number of.
Yeah. Here, let me.
When you get there, I'll share it.
Radio Galaxy Zoo. There we go.
Only 2,730 subjects.
Yeah.
So maybe they want more than 10 people.
But they've only got 448 people, so.
Still, it's not that many. I mean, we've seen other projects that went fast.
I think that people are getting weirded out by the tags. And I will say.
You mean a huge list of.
Right. And I will say that the ones that I got tonight were screwier than any of the ones that I got while playing with it before.
I see.
Before doing this. So,
okay.
That's okay.
Interesting.
All
right.
So some people might have been put off by that, but if you're up for a little bit of mind bending.
So what do you think? Is it a good project to try? I think I'd play with it.
Yeah. All
right. Anything else you got to share with us?
Nope. That'll do it for now.
All right. So let me talk about some stellar events this week. And we're talking about July 26th through August the 2nd. July 26th, which is tonight, Moon is at ascending node and the Globe at Night project begins. And this is where it'll run for 10 days from the 26th to August the 4th. You're going to look for a couple things in the sky. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you want to look for Scorpius. If you're in the northern hemisphere, you got a choice between Hercules or Cygnus. And you want to go out, look at the sky, report on the app. I think you can also use a desktop computer, but it's real handy on your phone. You can just go there and pick the different ones. There's pictures, and I think it'll pick up your location. We've heard that this is a pretty important project. It's a lot of it's about light pollution.
Yep.
So yeah, the 27th is the last quarter moon, and the one calendar said it's a Delta Aquarius meteor shower peak. And you want to look south after midnight. But I looked at my meteor shower chart. And of course, they move around a little bit every year. But in this case, I had it peaking July 29th through 30th. Of course, the 27th is a Saturday night. So that might be a little more fun for people to go out instead of like a school night. The date range for that is the 12th of July through the 23rd of August. Like I said, it peaks around the 29th, 30th. You want to observe after midnight. It radiates from Aquarius. It's not real populous, though. It's only 10 to 20 per hour.
Which is basically, on average, one every 3 to 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long time to wait. The Perseids, one every minute. That feels long, too, especially when you're used to things going really fast. The source of the meteoroids is 96P/Machholz. July 29th, Uranus and the moon are in conjunction, and Pleiades is 1 degree north of the moon. Apparently, there's an occultation, and
they don't say where, but I'm going to assume North America because that's where the calendar is.
That makes a little bit of sense. If it's produced in the location, it's probably about the location. All right, so July 30th, Mars and the moon are in conjunction. Mars is 5 degrees south of the moon. And Jupiter and the moon are in conjunction. Jupiter is 5.4 degrees south of the moon. If you're an early bird, you want to look for that in the east right before sunrise. Hey,
Yep.
Nancy,
Hi,
welcome.
Nancy.
Thanks for joining us. August the 1st, the moon rides high. August 2nd is our Friday night show. I found something. Oh, Dawn. Hi, Dawn.
Yeah, hi, Don. Well,
Yeah, that's okay.
that's why we record these, right?
Yeah. And I know it's late for both Nancy and Dawn, so thanks for joining us
Yep.
at this hour. Friday nights, next Friday night is our show, and I found something kind of interesting and cool. And well, I think there's a way to participate, so I'm going to talk about it next week. But stick around to learn more about what that is. Find us Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the Everyday Spacer Facebook page and the Everyday Spacer YouTube channel. And what inspires you the most for this coming week? Go ahead.
Okay, if you or someone you know has done something interesting involving space exploration, science, or astronomy, we'd love to share our live. Join us again next Friday, August 2nd. And we'll be talking about the Space Force.
Yeah, I was looking around. I'm like, hey, it's pretty much more interesting than I thought, because I thought, oh, is it really something that you could participate in? But I think there's a way. I'm going to learn some more between now and next week. But yeah, it looked pretty interesting to me. There's a lot of cool facts about it, too. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Anything else from you?
No.
Anything else from you? We will watch for your comments as well after the show.
Yep.
And thanks for joining us. That's I know Dawn and Nancy came in a little bit late. Cliff was here, and Jamie, Scott as well, our regulars. We really appreciate that. Yeah.
And Dawn and Nancy, if you look toward the beginning of the show, I did talk about CrowdStrike and that nonsense. So
A little cybersecurity news in there.
Yeah. And okay, let me put a little bit of cybersecurity into that.
Yeah.
There are apparently a number of people trying to scam people about it.
Ooh.
There are a lot of lookalike websites that are out there basically purporting to have fixes for it.
Ouch.
You don't need them. I showed you the one thing that you need to do to fix it. You know, you
want to share that again? We'll flash it up again real quick here tonight.
Yeah, here. Here
Ready?
we go.
Is that where you want to be?
Right there.
All right. So it's this Sentinel-1. They've written an article about it.
Yep.
CrowdStrike.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna
issue.
Share it, but I'll put it in the stuff. But
all right.
Basically, you boot into safe mode, and you delete this file, and there's a link for it to look where to look for that file.
So if anybody tells you different,
yeah,
they're trying to pull one over on you.
Yeah.
Cliff says totally cloud covered here now. Yeah. I'm sorry, Cliff. Janie, hugs to all as well as to you. Yep. Keep cool and safe. Yeah, it's been pretty warm here.
Yeah.
But, we're managing. All right, so Jeff has put that Sentinel-1 link into the chat. It should be a clickable link for you. Yep. If you want to go ahead and read it for yourself. Yeah, watch for any unsavories out there. We definitely
there's
no
always
clicky.
Yeah, there's always people who will try to profit from any bad thing. And quite frankly, none of you will need to go to any of those sites, because most people, unless your business uses CrowdStrike, and here's the bad thing, if you use some versions of Microsoft 365.
Okay.
Oh, well. But
yeah, I have a feeling that most of our viewers aren't quite in those categories.
Yeah, because it is a big cash outlay to basically get CrowdStrike endpoint on your computer. So it's not, you won't just have it. And if you had it, you already got bit. So it's not something that anyone has to worry about, because it's done and gone. Okay. So.
Yeah, there may be some secondary things, like my sister trying to use a credit card at the gas pump.
And most stuff has already been cleaned up. The one lagging behind was Delta, and I haven't seen whether they've fixed their stuff or not yet. But they were the airline that was lagging behind.
Got it.
They lagged behind the last time the airlines had so I think that they might need to have some staff. But because, you know, when all of your IT staff is in India, it's really hard for them to go to a computer here and reboot it. Yeah. You know, just saying.
Yeah. Wow. They could talk people through it though, right? If they had to. You could talk somebody through landing a plane. Come on.
Some people.
Oh, right. Okay.
There are some people that you cannot talk through this.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, folks, have a really great week, and we'll see you next week.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, folks.
Gotta go find the button. Here we go.